Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a book review on the first book in Stephen King's magnum opus, his Dark Tower series, and that would be The Gunslinger. The Gunslinger is quite an interesting book because he initially envisioned it as being 5 short stories that were related to each other and somewhat intertwined and mingled with each other. He kind of did a similar thing about 15 years into the future with Hearts in Atlantis, which features 2 novellas and 3 short stories that kind of create one big story. But he eventually just released it as a standalone novel. In 2003, he did a revised edition of it. If you want to tell that your book is the revised version, 1, it's the only version in print today, and 2, it'll say 19 and resumption just before the book starts. Means it's the updated version. My edition of The Gunslinger is 238 pages, so it's a short one, as you can see. It's very short, and it kind of is one of the shortest books that he's ever written, alongside, I don't have him here, but The Girl That Loved Tom Gordon, or The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, and Carrie. I'm kind of glad that this book is short because it's a little bit jarring to read. It's kind of hard to follow. It's definitely him. He's definitely getting used to this kind of writing style in this book. The Gunslinger is about an gunslinger who is on the quest to find a mysterious tower, the Dark Tower, in a world that is mostly empty and deserted that eerily mirrors our own world. Basically, the gunslinger thinks that the tower is pretty important, and while he's also doing this, he's chasing after the evil man in black who is... he's evil. This is a tough book to describe because, like, it's... I don't know how to say, but it opens a lot of doors and doesn't close many of them at all. I've heard people describe this book as kind of an extended prologue. I've only read this book and the drawing of the 3 in the Dark Tower series so far, but I'm obviously planning to continue later on, and I'm sure by the end of it, this book will make a lot more sense to me. But that's kind of just like a general plot overview, I guess, that I can give you. I will say though, if you don't like The Gunslinger, just push through it because it's not too long, and read the drawing of the 3. This book is really, really good. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. It's kind of an interesting book because he'd never written anything that wasn't horror or horror related, especially as Stephen King, because he'd only written 1 book that I would consider not horror under a pen name, which wasn't even uncovered by this point. So it was a really big risk and change for Stephen King to go for. He said that he kind of wanted to honor The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, I think is his name, and The Good and the Bad, the Ugly, kind of like the Clint Eastwood westerns. So he kind of mixed westerns with fantasy, and it's really unique. I have to say, it is something else. It is original. But to me, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, it seems like he wrote this book as soon as he got the idea of the Dark Tower into his head. He's like, oh my god, that's a cool idea, and just jotted it out onto 238 pages and published it as it is. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that in the future, but that's how I feel now. For me, this book was very, very intriguing, but calling it like a cohesive read and calling it well-paced, I don't feel like that's up for debate right now. It's a really mysterious and fantastical book. You get introduced to the world of Midworld, I believe is what it's called. Get introduced to the kind of language and the expressions. You get introduced to 19, and so early on, and that's like, within the first 20 pages or so, and you're just like, whoa, settle down. Because it's a lot to take in. The Gunslinger gets 3.5 stars from me. I don't think I can give it any higher at this point because I don't really understand it that well, but I can't give it any lower because I had a really fun time reading it, and seriously, it's pretty short. Thanks for watching my review on The Gunslinger. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to read the Dark Tower series, push through this one. If you don't like Drawing of the 3, which is the second book, you probably won't like the rest of the series, but just do what you want.